The podcast. It is a form of media that has permeated its way through the internet, and I really hate podcasts because it's kind of where entertainment goes to die. You sit around and watch a bunch of dudes, probably significantly less smart than you, talk about things they know nothing about. It's lazy, it's poorly planned out, it's just pathetic. So in this series, I want to bust down the absolute worst podcast on the internet. I want to take time out of my shitty, mundane, pretty boring life, really, to break this shit down. And I'm starting with what I consider to be, arguably, this is the worst podcast on the entire internet. I am, of course, talking about the Full Send podcast by the Nelk Boys. And I'm going to get into who the fuck they are in just a second. But first, I want to give you the definition of full send. To full send something, according to the dictionary, I didn't make this shit up, look at me, I'm not that smart. According to the dictionary, to full send something is to put 100% of your effort into it, even if it's gonna fail. And fail this podcast does. Now, prior to any of their podcasting endeavors, the Nelk Boys were one of the most promising and just intellectually riveting prank channels on the early YouTube platform. They did just genius level shit. Like, I remember they blasted porn in a classroom full of students, just really funny stuff. They would call up restaurants and ask for like goofy food items or ask for employees that didn't even work there to fuck with the shift schedule. Stuff that really isn't that funny, but I guess it did numbers with their 12 to 16-year-old audience. I think the cringiest thing I ever saw them do was like the fake Coke plant, and you might know what I'm talking about because this video was fairly viral. For those of you who don't know, they basically took a bunch of Coca-Cola cans, threw them in the back of the SUV, and called the cops and said like, "Hey guys, these people have Coke in the back of their car." So you know the cops show up, thinking they're gonna find some Schedule 1 drugs in the back of this fucking Subaru. They pop the trunk, and lo and behold, it's a bunch of fucking sugar products. And the cops, you know, there's like a moment where they just look at the Nelk Boys, and you can just see they're like, well done, you wasted a fucking hour of our lives. 2021 rolls around, and I guess the prank videos are falling off, or maybe their audience grew up, or maybe they just aren't selling enough t-shirts. Whatever happens, they decide they're gonna hop on the bandwagon and start a podcast. The Full Send podcast follows a format fairly similar to any other podcast you've seen. They generally have a guest on, maybe 10 minutes of intro where it's just the hosts talking. And the hosts, they're a bunch of fucking gemstones. They're basically 3 or 4 different dudes you might see on the podcast. The main 3 are Kyle, who's kind of the ringleader. He was the only person left from the original prank comedy troupe of Nelk, and it really shows. Because this dude clearly did so many drugs and so much alcohol before his brain fully developed that he has a difficult time firing his neurons enough to get a basic question out. Like, he tries to ask questions sometimes, and it's just... It's hard for him, right? There's Brad, he looks like a professional bodybuilder. He's probably the least annoying out of all the people they have on the Full Send show. You can just tell his nuts are the size of freaking airsoft BBs, the amount of tren going through him. I mean, he's a fucking bodybuilder. Cooked his brain with tren, whatever. And then there's Steiny, who, bless the man, he looks like, when I think of Steiny, right, I imagine a rat crawling out of a sewer that like a wizard has found and decided to bless with like a human body. Because this guy, he looks like a rat, he fucking acts like a rat. For all respects and purposes, he is a rat. He's definitely worst character on the podcast. You'll occasionally get some other co-hosts. There's a dude named Salim, who's kind of just a whiny brat. There's this guy Bob you might see on from time to time. I'm pretty sure he got kicked off the podcast for just being too much of a drama queen. I'm a little unsure because he was there for a bit and then he wasn't. I mean, I haven't watched all these episodes because if you watch one, you kind of lose brain cells. when it comes to the actual content of the Full Send podcast, I really have 4 big issues that make this podcast a steaming pile of shit. Firstly is just poor interviewing technique. And it's just laziness, because these guys are able to pull some of the most, I guess, shiny A-list celebrities in the world today. I mean, they've had Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Dana White, Post Malone. I don't even know who else. Just if they're big, they probably had them on the show. And they sit there with this A-list star, and they let the A-list star really do the leading and do the pulling, right? When you're hosting a show, you should add some value. You should, make some effort to contribute some charisma, ask interesting questions, lead your host, or lead the guest that you're hosting to show off like the best parts of it. They do none of this.
We all took early flights to be here today, so
yeah.
We're pumped to have you here. I know you got a bunch of stuff going on too, right?
Well, I do, but nothing more important than being here with you guys.
You look well, all of you.
Thank you.
You're
well.
still the hottest guys around, I think, huh?
Yeah.
Did you ever think this was going to happen?
I never thought it would happen.
Yeah, computers are already smarter than us in most respects.
But do they have that sense of like power? Like it's AI. Like does power come from like being like human and like consciousness?
Additionally, they don't even do the minimum prep work on the people they're hosting, and arguably this is something they've gotten better at. Like, they've gotten from like dog shit to being like kind of average at this. But like for a lot of the early episodes, I remember they had Shaq on the show. And if you don't know Shaq, he's a big basketball player, but he also has this, pretty cool professional DJ career. None of the people on the show knew that Shaq was actually a DJ, and that's something that you could find by reading the man's fucking Wikipedia page.
What are you doing in Vegas, by the way?
I have a residency over at the Wynn Encore, so I had a show Saturday, got another show Friday, and
God damn.
That's crazy.
Is it hip hop? Like you play hip hop or?
no, dubstep and EDM.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been DJing since '88. I just got away from it when I started doing
When the
albums.
fuck has Shaq been DJing?
Yeah, I did not know that.
No, I've been DJing since high school, college, but
The second thing that just drags the Full Send podcast down is the lack of professionalism the hosts show their guests. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the first thing, but to show you what I'm talking about, let me give you an example. So I mentioned Shaq was on, right? So Shaq, he pulls up 15 minutes late to their podcast. They've started without him because I guess they think he's not coming. Well, they gave him the wrong address, the number they were contacting him on changed, so he was trying to call them. He's been driving around the neighborhood, so he pulls up and he's like pissed because they started without him. Fuck, they were really unprofessional about the way they contacted him. Kudos to Shaq because he kept his cool, he kept everything together. At least he was pissed off for the first 15 minutes, but whenever you're hosting something with a guest as big and as, cool as Shaq, he's taking time out of his day to be with you peons. You need to fucking respect that. Like watch this.
No, he said he was reliable.
oh, look at this shit.
Oh, I didn't pay my phone bill.
Oh my god, bro.
Shit. Shaq, I'm
Bob
so
almost
sorry.
fucked it up for everybody.
What you think? That's some information you want to fucking tell me?
What, take the label off?
No.
I'm sorry. I just about
No.
this. Wait, here's the thing. Why the fuck are we making Shaq take off labels?
That you change your number. Dumbass.
Oh, you texted me on the number. You already texted me on it. We had a communication with my you have the wrong number on here. But thank you for coming. He went out of his way. I said, look it. I said, can you be?
I do
had
not
a
want
couple
to be
drinks.
here
I said,
right
can you
now.
be?
Additionally, this is another clip, it went viral, of Andrew Schultz just roasting the shit out of these guys. Because at one point, they have the comedian Andrew Schultz on the podcast, and Steiny's over there just texting on his phone, or just dicking around with his phone. And Andrew Schultz is like, the fuck? What are you doing, man? You're interviewing me. I'm carrying your show for you.
What bothers you the most right now?
Nothing.
Nothing bothers you?
You looking at your phone while we're doing this interview, and everybody seeming disinterested.
Were you looking at notes or texting girls?
Notes.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Me taking time out of my day to do this, and then feeling
Dude,
like
I've never
I'm forcing you guys to do the podcast.
I've never been more
That
excited to
annoyed
do a
me.
podcast.
Say again?
I've never been more excited. I'm sorry. I had to
Don't
look at my notes.
apologize. You don't have to apologize. You asked me what annoyed me, and I gave you an honest answer.
The third thing that just grinds my gears about the Full Send podcast is the way all the hosts are just incessantly clout chasing. And it's just self-aggrandizing bullshit. For example, at the beginning of the Elon Musk podcast, they proceed to objectify every single person that they've ever gotten on the podcast in terms of their relative A-list clout. Nothing about the content, nothing about the cool stuff they've been able to do. It's all just self-aggrandizing.
AOC would be, that'd be viral.
I just don't think she would ever do it.
She would never do it.
Yeah.
Check the Nelk video. We did it. So we're going back. We're going from Andrew Tate on the pod, which right now is at 5.5 million views in 4 days. And now we're going straight to Elon, which this one's obviously going to blow up. But yeah, it's fucking
left,
crazy,
man?
man.
Who do
There's
we
tons
get?
of people left. We got Bieber, we got to get. We
Okay.
got Drake.
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un.
Tom Brady.
I think it's ultra funny when they try to do this with the guests they get on, because, you know, the guests they have on are actual people who actually have done shit with their lives. I think the best moment is whenever they try to talk to Elon Musk about their brand of Full Send, because I guess they say that a lot at like SpaceX, and Elon Musk is just saying, oh yeah, they say that a lot at SpaceX, and Full Send, they try to take ownership of this. Like, Full Send is their fucking phrase, and maybe they popularized it. They didn't fucking make it up.
If you know, our brand's called Full Send, so that's like the term that we coined.
For some reason, at SpaceX, we say that a lot too.
And that's our flag.
Like Sam Patel would say Full Send quite a
You
lot.
see that flag right there, the American one?
Yeah, that's our merch.
Okay.
What context does he say full send?
It's kind of like when you're going hardcore, like, you know, pedal to the metal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Full Send. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
we came up with that, and that's our brand. And
all right.
So that was like,
We got a trademark too, and like.
No, we don't.
Okay, well, I'll have to give you a 8 cents.
The fourth and my personal favorite reason why this podcast fails is really just the fact that all the people involved are shitty people. They're just not good people. If you ever watch the solo episodes where they're just talking amongst themselves, you see how much they hate each other. And to some degree, having a bunch of people that resent each other, you know, talking and having to interact, it can lead to a lot of humor. Think, you know, the Jerry Springer show. But in this case, the beef is so petty. These people are so stupid. They're so toxic to one another. It isn't even funny. It's just mean and it's sad.
I wanted to push more money to bet. What I was always trying to do is, first of all, I lost $1 million. Oh, here's $1 million.
No, but it sounds like you got him that out of guilt of being there. And
I
pushing
got
the
that out
stream.
because he's my boy, and that's it, Stein.
Yeah.
Something you would never do.
I missed you. Just love to do this, huh?
Do what, dude? What am I doing?
Love to do this.
You told the story. I'm just sitting
Nah,
here.
I like want to go off on you as
Go
a scumbag
off, dude.
right now.
Do it. You go.
Like,
Show me
every
what's in
day
your
I get a
notes.
notification. Bradley Martin Raw Talk.
What are you talking about?
Just you using me, bro.
How?
And I feel used, and I'm fucking.
Really,
I'm
bro?
honestly
You want to
tired
talk
of-
about this right now? Want to talk
Yeah.
about how you got your start, bitch? Why don't you tell the internet right now? Go ahead, tell
You-
him.
dude,
Go ahead, tell him.
dude,
Tell
okay.
him.
Okay,
tell
wait.
him.
Okay, fine, I will.
Tell him when you had 1,300 followers who put you in their
Funny in
videos,
Amish
bitch.
outfits.
No, but
Tell
wait.
him.
All right,
Yeah.
hold on. He's going. Okay, here we go.
Dude, why do you have to do this shit?
No, I just have to ask. Yo, Steve, I'm on the pod. Are you and Steiny? Is the beef real or is it fake?
It's real.
That's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. Thank you. Yo, Steve's wild, bro. Holy shit. You good over there, dude? You stressing?
No, I'm
I
good.
think you were stressing after that call.
No, I'm good, bro.
You text him
Why
like,
do you
yo-
like this so much, dude?
Because I can tell you probably texted Steve like, yo, you serious, dude? Because I know your personality.
Steiny's fed up.
I think the other thing to remember is these guys are fully grown men. These are fully grown men, most of them in their 30s, and they're talking like they're fucking 16-year-old girls. Most of them didn't really hit maturity. I really do believe a lot of them have brain damage from consuming alcohol before they were fully developed. And that might be bad to say. I don't know. Just look at these guys. They're a bunch of fucking clowns. Look at how they dress. So in conclusion, there are basically 3 things for me that make a good podcast, right? A podcast either has to be entertaining, whether that be through humor or other means. It has to kind of indulge my interest. If there's something I'm interested in, it kind of shows me a little bit more about that. Or, you know, it's just straight up educational. Something that makes me into a more well-rounded person, shows me, you know, new things I hadn't thought about. And this podcast doesn't really do any of these things. These guys aren't really funny. They don't really talk about interesting topics. And, you know, sometimes their guests can be kind of educating. But if I want to watch Elon Musk, right? If I want to watch Theo Vaughn, if I want to watch Dana White, I'm going to go to fucking Rogan. I'm going to go to watch, you know, a different podcast. These guys do interviews every fucking day of the week. Why am I going to go to these guys who are just absolute buffoons, a bunch of insecure, limp dick little boys who never matured past middle school, interview these, you know, A-list celebrities? It doesn't make sense. And maybe there's something I'm missing. If you really do like this podcast, please let me know down in the comments why you fucking watch this, because unless there's something I'm missing, I really don't understand. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. And to my fans, I know this is a different kind of video than I usually make. Let me know what you think, if you like it, don't like it. You know, I can go back to making the other content. I know it's a bit different. I love you guys. Bye-bye.